because I feel like there's a huge epidemic of just dismissing sleep apnea. A lot of people don't measure the calories that they, intake on a daily basis.
Right. Yeah.
That's the number one deciding factor, whether you're going to gain or lose weight.
You don't want to be one of those cows with the myostatin deficiency.
Prep cycles for bodybuilding get pretty intense, and I
Yeah.
know, a couple weeks right going into the show, a lot of people feel like crap because they're so lean. I believe is a lot more just physically demanding because you are physically depriving yourself of a lot of nutrients. Cutting your fat will make you a lot more prone to a bunch of medical complications.
Hersh, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you.
Dude, I was looking at your Instagram and it's hilarious with the posing at 760 and the house in flames. That was great.
Yeah. When I started my Instagram, I just thought I wanted to make things a little different than just posting clips of physiques and stuff. So I wanted to
Keep it lighthearted.
keep it lighthearted. And there was this trend going on with this one audio bit, and the common theme was to have like some really funny caption for all of them. So I just kind of rode that out for a little bit.
Have you seen your followers go up?
Not really, and it's due to no surprise because I haven't posted since last summer, but I'm definitely going to get back into posting. The reason that I stopped is because I just didn't have a gym like that where I went to school, and I wanted to make sure that the quality of my uploads was on par with what it was before, just constantly increasing at some point.
Do you have a goal with your social media or no?
Um, it's very casual right now. I don't have any big goals with social media in mind, but when I started, I did want to build a base that would eventually get me to have some kind of deal with some brands so I could get free supplements or something.
Hopefully one day I see a Gymshark promo code in your bio.
That'd be insane. That'd be
That'd be wild.
yeah.
What's your daily routine like?
So I definitely focus on a couple things. It's just eating and sleeping well. I try to get at least 8 hours of sleep. I feel like some people can, fare well on 7. Some might need 9. You really need to find that number. And another thing is, I feel like you should also look into your sleep quality. If you wake up feeling not that good, even on 8, 9 hours of sleep, you probably should get that checked out because I feel like there's a huge epidemic of just dismissing sleep apnea. And that's something that really needs to be looked into because, with people gaining weight and all that, you're going to have a lot of excess tissue around your neck, which can prevent you from breathing well during your sleep. So definitely make sure your sleep is good because if you sleep 8 hours and you feel like crap for your whole day, it sounds kind of counterproductive. Another thing is I am trying to put on some weight right now, so I am bulking and I am tracking my calories too because it's one thing to just, have some kind of bulk and cut goal, but it's another to, actually gauge your progress with a metric. And a lot of people don't measure the calories that they, intake on a daily basis.
Right. Yeah.
That's the number one deciding factor, whether you're going to gain or lose weight. I'm at about 3,300 calories, and the weight gain is, it's minuscule, but it's not meant to be very intense. I don't have any rush to gain that weight. So slow and steady.
What's your maintenance look like?
My maintenance is probably 3,200 right now. Yeah. And I've been stuck at 170 for a while, and that's where I figured out my maintenance was about 3,200.
Is there what's your like goal weight to hit?
That's a really good question. I noticed a big difference from just a 10-pound weight increase. I'm still around the same body fat that I was when I was 160, and it looks a lot better at 170. So I think a few more, like a bulk and cut cycle would be nice. So maybe push to 185, 190, and then cut back down 5, 10 pounds, and then bulk up to maybe 200. It seems a lot for my weight and height right now, but it's not out of the picture. And then
Yeah.
maybe cut down to like 190 and just chill there because I don't want to be too big. I do like some of the the athleticism that comes with being a little lighter. But at the same time, it's like if I'm not gonna compete in any sort of activity, it's there's really no point to you know have like a particular weight that I need to be at. So it's just trial and error, figure it out.
You don't want to be one of those cows with the myostatin deficiency.
Nah, no.
Hirsch, would you ever compete professionally down the
uh,
line?
I would down the line, maybe.
Yeah.
When things are a little, when things are a little stable. I feel like there's a lot going on right now, and I feel like you know, uh, the prep cycles for bodybuilding get pretty intense, and I
Yeah.
know, a couple weeks right going into the show, a lot of people feel like crap because they're so lean. So I feel like I need to be at a point in my life where I can, you know, fare with not being at 100% for a decent amount of weeks of the year. So I do see it down the line, maybe.
Big mental strength part that plays into that.
Mhm.
Yeah. How'd you even get into training? Were you like bullied as a kid or no?
No, there was no like humble beginning story or no like
No.
backstory, honestly. As a kid, I was always active. I was always really skinny as a kid. And I had a decent base from just doing push-ups, sit-ups, squats, and whatnot from did go to this martial arts dojo for about 3 to 4 years when I was like, I think it was about 8 to 12 years. It was mixed martial arts. We did a lot of karate. We did a lot of jujitsu when we got to higher belts. We did a little bit of judo, but I think for the most part, I did stop when I was a brown belt. So we didn't get much into the grappling and throwing and all that. It was more striking, and I feel like we did a lot of like explosive training, a lot of like push-ups, a lot of sit-ups, and that built a base for me to eventually work out. When I stopped doing all that stuff, I wanted a way to keep active, and it ended up just being weight training, and I fell in love with that. I love
you
the side that I
you'd
put on.
fare well in a street fight?
Yeah, I would. I could put my money where my mouth is, honestly. Um, I did wrestle in high school. I uh I would definitely, it's probably not ideal, but I would definitely go for some kind of takedown in a fight. I feel like once it gets to the ground, it's over, but if you're the one on top on the ground, I
Yeah.
think you'll be fine. But you know what? You never want to get into a street fight. Even the best martial artists will say, "Run." You don't know what the other guy has. Come on
That's
now.
right. Yeah. No one ever wins a fight.
No one ever wins a fight, man. It's all fun and games.
What's what's harder, combat sports or training, lifting weights?
All right. If you are I guess if you're competitive in both aspects, you got to have some kind of like a reference point. So, like a competitor in both fields, definitely combat sports. The hardest part about the training for like some kind of bodybuilder or powerlifter is the prep, and that's, I believe, is a lot more just physically demanding because you are physically depriving yourself of a lot of nutrients. Cutting your fat will make you a lot more prone to a bunch of medical complications. Um, you don't, I mean, there is the mental battle too, but I feel like it's a lot more prominent in fighting because you are getting in a cage with somebody and you don't know what the circumstances will be in a fight. So it's a lot more mental and physical for a combat sport than some kind of lifting or like bodybuilding event.
Any role models?
My dad, probably. I I'd hope to be half the man that he is.
Mm.
It's probably a cliche answer, but definitely my dad.
What's he like?
He's he's strong. He knows what he's doing, and one thing I like about him is he never lets me, my brother, and my mom know, if there's struggles or anything like that. He never lets us know that there's something we need to worry about. I think it's really important as a dad to be the rock in your family and really make your family know that they can count on him.
You hope to be like him one day?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. So what are the top 10 exercises that I should be doing?
You talking about just for like lifting,
Yeah,
like
lifting, full
exercises that
body.
you absolutely need?
Yeah.
Okay, so
If you had 10 for the rest of your life and you couldn't do anything else.
okay, that's a good question. I think this can go a lot of ways for a lot of people, but I'm just gonna go with how I built my base. I think you should have a fair amount of free weight exercises. I don't care what those science-based lifters say. You need those free weights. You have to have a squat there. Some kind of barbell. It could be front squat, it could be back squat, low bar, high bar, it doesn't matter. Squat. You should be squatting with a bar on top of you. You could do Zercher squats, something like that. I think an overhead press is really good too. It's nice to have strong shoulders and triceps. I'm gonna put bench press on there because I love benching. I just can't live without benching. I think deadlifts are honestly a. I don't deadlift at the moment. I think deadlifts are something that all people should do.
There's a lot of room for error in that one.
There's a lot of room for error in that one, but if you're not like
If
going
you know what you're
crazy,
doing.
yeah, if you know what you're doing, deadlifts are really good because a lot of people complain about like lower back pain, but if you just
Yeah.
ignore the issue, you're not going to strengthen the muscles in that area. It's just going to perpetuate pain in that area. What is that? That's a four, right?
Yeah, 4.
I like. I also like bent over rows. Those are solid. I like pull-ups.
Weighted or not?
Definitely weighted at some point if you are just gonna stick with pull-ups as like a regular,
Right.
definitely gonna be adding weight on them. You can change tempo, you can add weight, um, you can progress to like single arm pull-ups. Pull-ups are awesome. I'm trying to think of some other ones that are not just like different versions of what I said.
So we got back, triceps. What do you got for triceps?
I said really like my cable pushdowns, but I think if you just lay on a bench and do skull crushers, those are also awesome
Mm.
too. I didn't necessarily have a specific thing for biceps, but you can indirectly work them with rows and pull-ups. Just some kind of curl with you could do straight bar or like dumbbell curls. Solid.
Do you do abs?
I don't train abs, no.
Ah,
I think if you just
that's a
regularly
that's
work
a
on the
diet thing.
it's a diet thing, but I do believe that ab training has a place. I'll be honest, I don't really train abs, but you could definitely make them pop out more if you do some good ab exercises. So for abs, you can hang on a pull-up bar and then bring your legs up like a leg raise. Those are good. And I heard ab wheels. So if you take one of those like wheel roller things, you go on the ground and you kind of just, extend yourself and then try to bring yourself back up. Those are really good for your abs too. Um, sit-ups, sit-ups are sit-ups. They're pretty good, but a lot of those other ones, they really burn your abs a lot better. And
Yeah.
you're utilizing more of your body weight to crunch your abs with those.
I know decline ab crunches are great.
Yes, that too. And
So
yeah,
we
the
got
declining, increases your range of motion
yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah.
So we got 2 more. What do you got for legs?
Um, okay, so I think you can actually make a sect between front squat and back squat for legs. I do have lacking quads, so I think the implementation of front squats have been really good. You can lower the weight, and everybody loves the ego lift, but I feel like start light with your front squats and then build up. Your quads will explode. Back squats are just overall really good for your legs, and then I'm gonna have to throw something in for calves because yeah,
How often do you train calves?
I have been on that recently for about the past month, but before that, it was not in the picture at all. I kind of gave up on calves. Not gonna lie. I just blame it on genetics, but I think you could train them. You just have to train them a little more frequently. I try to train them every day. Honestly, I just throw them in at the end of the workout because um, calves are stubborn, probably because they're constantly being loaded by your weight when you're walking. So if you are constantly applying some kind of resistance on them, you have to go all out when you train calves. And the reason that some people have bigger calves is, probably just carrying around more weight and, maybe genetics, but I'm not going to blame it on genetics. I have to train. I can't keep.
There's no rest day for calves.
No, there really isn't. They're always walking. We're always using them.
Imagine carrying on around a backpack all day and just doing calf raises whenever you can.
Yeah, that's a thing people do. Forgot what the term is, but a lot of hikers will carry around just a lot of extra weight other than, whatever their supplies are. And that really builds like your leg muscles and your calves because if you're carrying around 70, 80 pounds, you take it all off, you're going to feel awesome.
It's
You're
like
going to
when
feel,
Liver King does those walks,
yeah,
holding like 150 pounds. Those add a little trend in there.
a little trend.
Hersh, would you ever do trend?
No, I would never touch anything. I would never do any injectables. I've considered like peptides and stuff, but I don't think so. Unless I would, not in the foreseeable future, but if I'm like 40, 45, and
Some TRT.
some TRT, if it's prescribed, maybe. But no, I just want to keep going how I am right now. It's just like there's no need to do that if I'm doing really well right now.
It's like people will sacrifice longevity for the next 5 years just to look good.
Yeah. And if I were to do any of that stuff, I would want to make sure everything was in check, and that would get expensive. Getting the routine blood work, and I think having also somebody analyze it for you because you're not going to know all the markers. That stuff will get, it'll get annoying, it'll get expensive, and it's just, I'm not a competitive bodybuilder. That's not my career. There's no point for me to indulge in those things recreationally, and it's just going to ruin my health.
No IFBB pro down the line.
Probably not.
What kind of motivates you to train when that inner voice says, "Don't get up today"?
I have to go because it's keeping me sane. I think it's more of just discipline for me. I don't necessarily feel more motivated than other. Well, I do, but I don't feel so motivated or so unmotivated that I have to go or I don't go. I just kind of just go. It's part of my routine. And when I don't go, it's like that 1 to 2 hours of the day that I'm not going. It's just like, man, something's missing. So it's more of I've done it so much, so frequently, and just so routinely in my day that it's just become normal for me, and it's not an inconvenience for me to go to the gym. So I just go, and I think 30 minutes in, I'll know whether this workout's going to be crappy or it's going to be awesome. But nevertheless, I just keep going till I finish, and then even if it's a bad workout, I feel a lot better than I when I came in. So
So ingrained into you.
yeah, yeah, it's definitely ingrained into me, and a lot of people will say that, and I think it's definitely true. If you're trying to get into just fitness in general, stick with it, even if it sucks, even if you hate it, because eventually there's going to be a point where you'll start skipping days, and you're like, wow, this doesn't feel right, and that's when you've developed a good habit.
What does it take to get there for the normal person?
It takes a lot of just going when you don't want to. And I think if I had to give like a time, I think it has to be at the very least a month. I know they say it takes like 60 days to build a habit. I would say, it's arbitrary from person to person, but go consistently for at least, a month. And if your current training style is not for you, and you're not competing in anything, just, try other methods of physical improvements. If you don't like weight training, maybe get into a fighting gym if you like that. Or if you don't like that, do cycling, do something else. There's always other options.
I think especially with weight training, once you see results, it gets addictive.
It definitely gets addictive. Um, you're always chasing that pump physique that you see after the gym.
Yeah. You look at yourself and you go, "Wow, I gained 2 pounds of muscle. Imagine if I did this for 6 months."
Right? Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people talk about body dysmorphia, even if you look really good as a lifter. I think that partially drives some of the progress because you see yourself in the mirror after a pump and you're like, wow, I look awesome. And then you see yourself in the morning and you're like, wow, I don't look what I look like in that pump. You're always chasing that pump physique that you see in the mirror, and that perpetuates just you getting better and better.
What's the pump for the people that don't know?
Pump is just the rush of blood to the muscle that you worked on a particular day. For example, a chest pump will definitely inflate my chest a significant amount because when you're constantly applying resistance on the muscles that you work, you're going to get more blood flow to them, and it's also going to break down your muscles. So when you're looking at yourself with a pump, you look bigger, you look inflated, and if you're training with the intention of getting bigger, you're going to love that immediate fulfillment of the muscles. You're going to be like, wow, I look insane.
It's like you're chasing a shadow, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Never gonna get it, but
we're going to get
it's
it.
there
But
for like 30 minutes and then it's gone.
yeah, and then you just fall in love with that chase, pretty much.
How often do you warm up? I know people don't usually warm up.
I might warm up for like 5 minutes, honestly. I'll get on this bike, just like get the blood flowing a little bit, and then I'll take some resistance bands and kind of just warm up my shoulders. But I think it's better to do some kind of like dynamic movement. I feel like those like static stretches aren't as good. You should be moving when you're stretching or just warming up. You're going to be moving when you're lifting those weights. Really move to get that blood flowing to the areas that you're going to work out.
Do you
And I
feel
think
like a huge difference when you don't warm up and you do warm up?
I don't feel a huge difference, but it's about the prevention of something bad happening if
It's
you're
more
just
of a
not.
recovery thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I don't. Yeah, that's another thing. I don't really stretch or warm up after the workout, but you could do that. That's a good idea, honestly.
Take me through your split.
So I usually just do like a, typical push pull legs. Push is working your chest, your triceps. So pretty much muscles that you use to push things. Pull is my back and biceps, so muscles that you use to pull things to you. And then legs are legs. I'll throw in an arm day there every now and then, just because I feel like when you do a classic push pull, you start with, your chest, your back, and you kind of just sprinkle on arm exercises after the workout. So sometimes I'll throw in an arm day after the pull day, and it'll be PPL or PPAL workout for about, honestly, 1 to 2 hours. Sometimes it's really fast. Sometimes it's a lot longer. I feel like legs take a lot more work. You just finish a set of squats and you're just out of breath. You need to take a little more time to rest before your next set. I definitely start with some kind of, for push, I start with some kind of incline press usually, and then I'll do a flat press, and then I'll do some kind of fly movement, and then after that it's all triceps. I might do dips. I'll definitely do some kind of cable push down. I'll do skull crushers, and then I'll do some kind of overhead extension for the long head. For pull, I will usually start with lat pull down or some kind of cable row, and then whatever I didn't start with, I'll just do next. And then I'll just select maybe two more back exercises for like my rows or my pull downs. So, general rule of thumb for back for me is I'll have two vertical pulls and two horizontal pulls. So a vertical pull is, like a pull up, a lat pull down, something like that. And then a horizontal pull is like a cable row, some kind of seal row. You could do bent over rows, just because I feel like you should, have an equal amount for lats, and then for the other muscles in your back, maybe rear delts. And then after that, I'll just go biceps. I'll do dumbbell or some kind of bar curl, and then some kind of cable curl, and then maybe forearms, depending on how I feel. I'll do some kind of, I'll take a dumbbell and then I'll curl it with my forearm, put my forearm on like a bench and then curl it. And then I'll do a reverse curl where my palm is facing down, and then I bring my hand up so it works this muscle right here in your forearm. It's the think it's the brachioradialis. And then for legs, recently I've been starting with front squat. I feel like a lot of people will start with like some kind of back squat. I just work on front squats just for the quads. And then I'll go over to the machines. I'll do some kind of leg extension, leg curl, and then every now and then I'll do some kind of deadlift. I'll usually do Romanian deadlifts with dumbbells or something, and then recently calves. So I just get on like a calf machine and just hammer calves at the end of the workout.
Hip thrusts or no?
No, not often. Every now and then I will. The movement for hip thrusts, you can do that with some kind of deadlift variation.
It's like that machine is reserved for females.
I mean, I guess, but not really. Anybody can use that. Yeah,
How often do you train to failure?
almost every set, honestly. It's been a lot more efficient for me to train to failure or near failure because I feel like when you kind of gauge, I have 2 reps, 3 reps in the tank, it kind of gets a little fuzzy because you don't really know. For me personally, I feel like I don't really know that I have 3 reps or 4 reps left. I'm kind of just guessing, and I feel like if you kind of just go to like I don't know RPE 6, which means you have about 4 reps left. You might not have gone till 4 reps till failure, and then you're missing out on you know meaningful gains. So I just go might not be efficient, but it's worked for me recently, and it is to go to failure and near failure almost every set. And I feel like the almost every set is more for free weights. You don't want to go to failure on every single set for free weights, but if you're on a machine, if you're on like the cables for like tricep pushdowns, more power to you. I feel like that's not that bad. It's not that taxing on your body. You can go to failure for those.
What are the biggest mistakes you've seen at the gym other people make or yourself?
Not training hard enough. That
Not
definitely,
training until failure.
yeah, that definitely goes with the, yeah, I have about 4 reps left. I think a lot of time would be cut if you minimized your sets and just went really hard on your sets instead of having 4 sets of 10 reps on every single exercise you do. That's just inefficient. You shouldn't be in the gym for I don't think you need to be in the gym for more than 2 hours, honestly. I mean, there's some leg days where you could be pushing almost 2 hours, but it's just inefficient for the 4 sets of 10 reps for every single movement. I see that a lot. A lot of people are pushing that for their workouts, and it's just dumb. You can do 2 sets and you'd be fine.
Yeah, people add a lot of unnecessary things.
Yeah. And a lot of that is perpetuated by these guys who are taking gear. You have the recovery time. You have the enhanced recovery from taking all that stuff. So of course you can do 4 sets of 10 reps for each of your exercises. You can't be influencing these people who are not taking anything that you're taking to do the same thing. They're gonna have a different route to get to where they want to be, and
Yeah,
that's
the influencers who take something and then people aspire to be like them, but they can never get there.
never get there. No,
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
it's a false hope.
What's your diet and sleep like? I know you get 8 hours usually.
I don't have a strict diet, but I probably eat probably eat a few eggs a day, and I might eat like half a pound to a pound of meat a day, and that's usually sufficient for my protein intake. I try to get about 200 grams of protein a day, and then everything else, honestly, after I have hit my protein marker, I feel like everything else falls into place because I feel like for a lot of things, for a lot of diets, protein is the hardest thing to get because, if you just look at the food at the store, everything is just this crap that's in packaging, it's all carbohydrates and stuff. If after I get my eggs, my meat, and then, milk and stuff, and then, protein powder to supplement if I haven't had enough from food, everything else falls into place. I definitely love my fruits. I love like strawberries and like bananas and like oranges and stuff like that. I do like vegetables. I do like very particular vegetables, and it's just from just Indian food and stuff like that. So
What's
I think
your meat of choice?
my heart says like some kind of beef, but my brain says chicken. I think
Chicken and rice.
yeah, I think chicken is definitely better to eat in general. Just because red meat, there's a lot of controversy around red meat, but I feel like if you have like farm raised, like genuine farm raised red meat, it is probably just as good, maybe if not better than some of your poultry options. But just for right now, I think chicken. I think one day, when I have the money to get like a whole cow from like a farm or something, maybe that's gonna be beef. But for now, definitely chicken.
I want to know your opinion on like the female bodybuilders who use gear.
I mean, honestly, I don't know what to say. They have a goal in mind, and it's by any means necessary. It's just gonna get worse and worse, honestly, because you're gonna see just a lot more like abnormalities with a lot of these female bodybuilders just taking more and more gear to just be better and better. They're just doing what everybody else is doing. I don't necessarily see anything right or wrong with that, but it's just I feel like it's worse because it's just it's based around a hormone that's not necessarily you know the factor of being a female. They're taking testosterone when estrogen is like the female reproductive hormone. That could have its adverse effects. It's just might be more of a
Personal choice.
yes, personal choice. They're just doing what they have to do to compete.
Talk to me about mental discipline.
I think a lot of successful people will say that it's the impulse control that is what got them to be where they are. Mental discipline is, I think it's losing its presence in the modern day because we are surrounded by consumables. We become a consumer-based society where we just love to consume. Entertainment has its place, but you know, I'm sure, a lot of people are guilty of, scrolling through, just mindlessly scrolling through
Doom
reels or like
scrolling.
TikToks, and you're
Yeah.
just like, where did all this time go? I've been sitting here for like an hour and a half or 2 hours, and I've just been doing absolutely nothing with my time. You're just watching other people succeed off of you just being a consumer. So
Yeah,
I think,
Goggins was like, check your screen time and it should make you mad.
yes, like 6 hours of screen time. I know, screen times are different for some people because some people are just constantly looking at emails or something, but that's
Right.
generally not what a 6 hour screen time constitutes for like a kid our age. They're usually probably on some kind of social media. So I think just having the mental discipline to cut yourself off and to just do something that makes you develop yourself to get better at something that could make your life better is something that needs to happen instead of doing something that is benefiting somebody else. Become somebody who produces. You know, you may not necessarily need to legitimately, literally produce something, but produce something. Do something that is beneficial to you, do something that is beneficial to other people, because at the end of the day, that's somehow going to make your life better.
Yeah, if you're not adding value to society, society has no use for you.
Exactly. All right.
Awesome. Thank you, Hirsch, for your time.
Thank you, man. Good to see you.